And right here, Wish TV, you have just finished watching the CNN presidential debate, simulcast right here on our channel. Let's get right to insight and analysis locally from Indiana's best political team. Joining us now is News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist. Also, Kip 2, former chair of the Indiana Democratic Party, and Whitley Yates, director of diversity and engagement for the Indiana Republican Party. Whitley, ladies first.
Oh, okay.
Yes, as always. Your thoughts and who won tonight's debate?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear who won tonight's debate. I think that one candidate seemed a lot more prepared while the other one seemed a little bit more aloof. I think that when it came to really proposing ideas for the American people, one was a little less lackluster and one was more grandiose. It's pretty easy to tell which one. I think overall, you've got President Trump running to prove a point, and you have President Biden running to prove that he is coherent enough to continue on this job and do something about the economy. And it was very mismatched, the energy level. It was mismatched in their direction for the country. And I think it's very interesting that it seems like a very different president that we're getting from State of the Union. State of the Union, he was sharp, he was opinionated, he had zingers a little more than he did tonight. But he felt more like a leader. Tonight, it feels unprepared, feels haphazard, almost as if he didn't know he was going to be here, and I think that's unfortunate for the American people.
Kip, same question.
Well, I think the American people lost tonight. I thought it was a terrible debate. I thought it was a terrible television program. I thought it was terrible on every level. My guy started out pretty bad, just to be frank about it. I didn't think he started well. He got better as the night went on. I mean, Donald Trump just lied for 90 minutes. He didn't hardly speak the truth one time. He had more energy, but I just think it was a terrible night.
I mean, you said he lied, but Biden's being fact-checked in real time about his Border Patrol endorsement as we speak.
Tell me one thing Trump said that was the truth. I mean, it was a lie all night.
Reclaiming my time, and I'm saying what we are looking for from President Biden, what the American people want to see, is that he is ready to lead for another 4 years. And based upon what you've stated and based upon what I've stated, that's not what we were able to see tonight.
Well,
so irregardless of...
First of all, irregardless isn't a word.
Okay.
Second of all...
Okay.
It's not. But second of all, debates are not how presidents govern.
No, our economy is, which people are upset with.
That's
the
the economy in
border
the world.
and immigration people are upset with.
That's the economy in the world. The border, your president told Congress not to pass the bill. And that's why we haven't had success on the border.
He only just started working on the bill.
Your president lies every minute of every day. Your president lies every minute of every day, and it's disgusting. And we saw it tonight. It was just bloviating and spreading lies for the entire evening.
And what did your president do tonight? How did he direct the American people? How did he show that he was going to be able to lead in a way where we think that he has the mental acuity to handle national security issues? Well, how did he lead in that way? Please, Kip, bloviate and tell me.
He spent the evening. He didn't have a great night. I admitted that from the beginning.
Which part wasn't great?
When he started out, he was pretty weak, but he got better as the night went on. He didn't stand up there lying all night.
Weaken his stance, weaken his direction, weaken his leadership. I mean, it was lots of weaknesses.
Let's bring Garrett in here because Garrett, you were in the newsroom and you brought some sound bites with you back to the studio here. So let's go ahead and talk about that.
That's been about the first 40 minutes or so, just holed up in one of the edit bays cutting video. But
yeah.
So, and we will get to immigration and the economy in a minute. I do want to turn to abortion here. This has been a headline issue basically from the moment the Dobbs decision came down almost exactly 2 years ago right now. And this is actually one area where Trump has been a little bit at odds with a lot of the Republican base because he has said that he favors some exceptions, and he also has said that he wants to let states decide. And that's actually a little bit less, hard line on immigration than some other members of his party, including his former vice president. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that. and I will not block it. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes.
And now, for their part, the moderators also asked President Biden what his position was on whether there should be any gestational limits. They noted that some states have enacted laws that do not include gestational limits. And here's a little bit of what he had to say there.
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
And we can certainly expect both major parties to continue to make that a very top issue in this election, as they already have, again, basically from the moment the Dobbs ruling came down.
You guys want to expand upon that specific part there, because I think that resonated on both sides. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Donald Trump's been on all sides on this issue.
He's bounced around a lot over the years.
He's bounced around. He bounced around tonight. A couple months ago, when he said it ought to be left to the states, he got his chain yanked, and he backtracked from that. He was saying tonight what most people want to hear with respect to that. But the fact of the matter is, his presidency is responsible for taking away women's reproductive rights. This state, Indiana, was the first state to pass the most restrictive abortion law in the country. And the people of Indiana don't want it. They don't want what Republicans in the legislature did with this bill. And we saw a poll just this week come out that said, 64% of Hoosier voters don't want what we have right now. And the president, the former president's reacting to where polls are, but the fact of the matter is, he's responsible for where we are today, and now he's trying to slip out of it.
I would disagree. I think it's very interesting that, President Biden didn't clearly know what a trimester was, because he started talking about trimesters and then breaking down something completely different. And as much as you like English, I'm sure that you caught that gaffe as well. I think the truth of the matter is that people should have the opportunity to hold elected officials accountable, specifically those on a local level, and removing it from the federal government and bringing it back to the states allow for states to make those types of decisions. And what we do in Indiana is not going to be what's done in California, where I used to live. And I think that people having that right is important. Now, when it comes to life of the mother, when it comes to incest, and when it comes to rape, he was very clear on that. Indiana has been very clear on that. And outside of those cases, I think that we need to be, outside of being pro-life, we need to be pro-livelihood and making sure that we're providing the top most care resources for women, not only in the state of Indiana, in this country, so that we can continue to have beautiful, healthy children.
Immigration also something that was pretty big, right, Garrett?
Yeah, this played a pretty big role in the debate, and it was especially something that former President Trump kept steering the conversation back toward on a number of occasions. And in his own defense, President Biden pointed to a number of recent actions that he's taken, particularly within the past few months, to try to stem the flow of some migrants across the southern border. But he also tried to make a point that he believed that his policies were more humanitarian than former President Trump's. Here's a little bit of that conversation.
He was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
Now, former President Trump largely stuck to his existing talking points when it came to immigration. He claimed, without offering specific evidence, that there were terrorists and criminals coming over the southern border. He at one point was asked about his stated plans to deport a number of undocumented immigrants here. He did not directly answer that question as to how he would carry that out. Instead, he turned back to some of his talking points. But here's a little bit of about what he had to say.
We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now, all terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him.
So once again, we can expect that to be a headline issue all throughout the campaign.
No doubt about that. Quickly, though, before we go to break, Kip, I want to get your reaction to that, specifically when it comes to immigration and the border, Kip, because the president has taken it on the chin lately with some of the things he's done within his own party, no?
Well, he's been tougher than most people in the Democratic Party want him to be with respect to what he's going to do with the border. I would remind Donald Trump that it was a Republican president that allowed terrorists in that caused 9/11. And so their record on keeping terrorism out of the United States is pretty damn weak if you look at it. The fact of the matter is Democrats want to solve this issue. There was a bipartisan bill on the floor that was worked on for months and months and months, and Donald Trump got on the phone and told Mike Johnson and told others, don't pass the bill, and it died. That's what happened. That's the fact. So he didn't want to solve the problem. He just wants to use it as a cudgel.
Whitley, 30 seconds, then I'm going to go to break.
The truth is that Biden has blundered the border crisis and has only started to attempt to do something in the last couple of months. We have tons of immigrants in this country that are let's be honest, they're running rampant, they're performing crimes, they're hurting people, they're beating up police officers, and we're seeing it each and every day. There are drugs pouring into this country. I've lost 2 family members to fentanyl poisoning since Biden has been in office, and he has completely failed the American people on this issue. He's attempting to enact a fake Remain in Mexico policy that he was the one that got rid of on day 7 of his administration. I think he's blundered the border, and now he's trying to backpedal and do something about it.
Passionate conversation. Again, we're going to take a quick break. We'll discuss and break down more of that debate that you just heard from CNN right here on Wish TV. We'll be right back.
The home of Indiana's best political team. Wish TV. We are local.
And welcome back to our recap of the CNN presidential debate. The economy played a pretty major role in the debate as well. Former President Trump defended his proposed 10% tariff on all imported goods, while President Biden talked about some of his ideas for housing. Here's a little bit of what they both had to say.
And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people.
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce-back jobs. You can't do that.
Whitley, what say you?
You know, I think we have all been feeling inflation hitting our pockets, when we talk about unemployment being low, it's because people are having to get 2 and 3 jobs in order to make ends meet. These kitchen table topics and the way that the economy has been decimating Americans has honestly just been terrible. And so I think the truth of the matter is what Joe Biden has stated that he's done with Bidenomics, it hasn't been felt by the American people. So there's a disconnect between what he's saying that he's doing and what's actually being felt by everyday Hoosiers and Americans.
Kip, we'll give you the last word. We've got about 1 minute left.
Well, look, I thought tonight's debate was not good for the country. Donald Trump was nonstop lying. My candidate wasn't up to his snuff tonight, as I would have liked to have seen. And so I'm disappointed with the evening. I don't know what tomorrow brings, but I just wish we had a better candidate on the Republican side who wasn't a nonstop liar and not a convicted felon.
I have to let you respond quickly.
Of course you do. The truth of the matter is President Biden does not have the mental acuity to stay in the White House or to lead this nation and country. I don't care what you just said. The truth of the matter is the American people can see it. And at the end of the day, it was just proven. And you said he's not up to snuff, which I have to agree. So go ahead and vote for who you believe can actually string together a sentence in order to lead this nation in the right direction.
We will leave it right there. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for coming in tonight. And obviously, we're going to do this again in September. Yippee, right?
Hey, I'm excited.
Yes, it's good stuff.
Hopefully the next debate won't feel like elder abuse.
Oh, boy. Kip, I've never seen you like this, by the way.
We're off the air now.
I know. We're almost off the air. News 8 at 11 is next. We'll see you after that.